The pain of lost control. Let me ask you something, my friend. Have you ever wondered why some women can't stop thinking about you, while others forget you before the day even ends? It is not because of your charm, your looks, or your superficial efforts. No, it is something far deeper than that. True power does not come from being present, but from mastering the art of absence, silence, and emotional control. True power comes from making others crave you without ever being overt about it. This, my friend, is the essence of Machiavellian wisdom. The ruler who is constantly seen loses his control. The ruler who knows how to disappear at the right moments becomes indispensable. In relationships, the same rule applies. A man who seeks to dominate through force or constant presence is a man who already surrenders his influence. You must learn to create emotional gaps, to make others perceive you as an irreplaceable force they cannot afford to lose. Only in this way can you secure true control. A ruler, as Machiavelli would tell you, does not need to appear at every moment. He creates a shadow of absence, and in that shadow he draws others into his web. To master a woman's heart, you must first understand the delicate balance of presence and absence, of giving just enough to keep her desperate for more, yet never so much that she grows complacent. The hidden desire for emotional power. Understand this, my friend, and understand it well. The greatest power a man can wield in a relationship is not physical strength or constant presence. It is the subtle mastery of a woman's emotions. It is her heart and mind that you must control, not her body. She must believe that she is the one choosing, the one pursuing, the emotionally invested. Yet in reality, it is you who must guide her, gently pulling her into your world without her realizing she has stepped into a carefully crafted emotional trap. The desire to control is universal among men. But not all men understand that emotional manipulation is not cruel, it is an art. It is not about being the most attractive or the most charming, but about creating the emotional resonance that makes her long for your approval, for your validation. Respect, yes, it is important, but it is fleeting. Power comes from controlling what she feels, from shaping her emotions in such a way that she cannot escape the emotional attachment she has to you. Machiavelli teaches us that true rulers understand their subjects' weaknesses, and emotions are among the greatest weaknesses a woman can have. Her emotions are her chains, and it is these chains that you must learn to master. Every emotion she feels can be manipulated: fear, desire, insecurity, longing. By understanding what drives her, you can subtly create a relationship where she is bound not to your will, but to the feelings you provoke in her. When you control a woman's feelings, you control her, and she will believe that every step she takes is her own choice, even though you are the one guiding her every move. Submission through attraction. Attraction, my friend, is a weapon, but not a weapon that you simply wield by being ever present, ever pleasing. No. True attraction comes from scarcity, from distance, from uncertainty. When you are always available, when you are constantly at her beck and call, you lose your power. The man who is predictable, who is always there when she calls, is the man who will soon be forgotten. The art of seduction is not in giving everything, it is in withholding. The more you distance yourself, the more mysterious you become, the more you force her to wonder when she will see you again, when she will hear from you, the more she will be emotionally invested in your presence. This is the secret of attraction. By creating absence, you create desire. Machiavelli understood this principle deeply. He knew that the ruler who makes his presence rare is the ruler who holds his power. In relationships, this concept becomes your greatest tool. You are not to be the constant caretaker, the ever-present lover. You are to be the rare, elusive figure in her life that she cannot fully possess. And in that very inability to fully possess you, she will crave you more than she has craved anyone else. A woman may tell herself that she desires someone who is always there for her, but deep down, what she truly desires is the man she cannot have. The man who is always available is not desired. The man who makes her fight for his attention is the one who commands her heart. Understanding female psychology. If you seek to master a woman's emotions, you must first learn to understand the deeper psychological forces that govern her actions. Women, like men, are not driven solely by logic, but by emotion. These emotions are powerful currents that drive their desires, fears, and needs. And these currents, when understood, can be directed like rivers toward the shores of your own making. The key to understanding female psychology lies not in the obvious, what she says, what she does, but in the underlying emotional patterns that guide her behavior. Every woman has emotional triggers, needs that she often cannot articulate, but which are deeply felt. These needs are what you must learn to manipulate. Whether it is the need for validation, affection, security, or excitement, you must understand what is missing in her life and become the one who fills that void. Machiavelli knew that true power was in understanding the underlying psychology of his subjects. He knew that to control others, he must first understand their deepest desires, fears, and weaknesses. It is the same in relationships. If you understand what a woman needs emotionally, you can shape those needs to make her emotionally dependent on you. You become the one who fulfills those needs in a way no one else can. And in this emotional dependency, you secure your power over her. The pain of absence and the power of scarcity. Absence, my friend, is not a mere absence, it is a weapon. A well-timed absence, a strategic withdrawal from her life, creates an emotional void, a gap in her emotional world that she desperately seeks to fill. A woman, like anyone, fears loss more than she fears anything else. And when you are absent, she experiences the terrifying possibility of losing you, something she has not fully possessed. This fear drives her to seek you out, to crave your presence, to become emotionally dependent on the validation you provide. Machiavelli knew that scarcity creates power. The ruler who appears too often loses his aura of importance. The same applies to relationships. When you withdraw, you make your presence valuable. She will start to miss you, and in that missing, she will become emotionally dependent on you. This is the greatest tool you can have in your control over her. The game of uncertainty, manipulating the perception of power. Uncertainty, my friend, is a weapon far more potent than you may realize. People, women especially, crave certainty. They want to know where they stand, what they can expect, what the future holds. But when you create uncertainty, when you leave her questioning your feelings, your intentions, you create an emotional battlefield where she must fight to earn your affection, to earn your attention. Uncertainty makes her feel as if she is losing something precious, something she must hold on to, and in that pursuit, she becomes emotionally invested in you. When a woman is uncertain of where she stands with you, she will chase after you. She will constantly seek reassurance, and as she does, she will become more and more emotionally dependent on you. Machiavelli, ever the master of manipulation, understood the power of doubt. Doubt creates a need to seek out answers, to seek control. The more you make her uncertain, the more she will crave your presence, your words, your affection. She will not be able to rest until she understands what you want, what you feel, and in that quest for certainty, she will give you more power over her than any declaration of affection ever could. The power of emotional control, turning weaknesses into strengths. A man who can control his own emotions controls his destiny. Emotional stability is power. When you remain calm, composed, and steady, while the woman around you is swept away by the tides of her own emotions, you become a rock in the storm. And that rock, my friend, is where she will seek refuge. Machiavelli taught us that the true ruler is not a slave to his emotions, but a master of them. The man who can remain emotionally steady in the face of chaos becomes the one who controls the dynamic. In relationships, when you remain unmoved, unshaken by the emotional volatility around you, you become the one who sets the emotional temperature. And in this steadiness, you hold immense power. Women are drawn to emotional stability. They crave the comfort of someone who is emotionally reliable. When you can control your emotions, even in the most intense situations, you make her feel safe, and in this safety, she will grow emotionally dependent on you. This is the art of emotional control, remaining steady, remaining strong, and becoming the emotional anchor that she needs. Using insecurity to generate desire. Insecurity is a powerful emotional trigger. It is not something you create from nothing, but something you gently nudge. Every woman has insecurities, whether she admits them or not. These insecurities are the key to her desire, and you, my friend, must learn to use them to your advantage. When you feed her insecurities, when you make her question her worth or your commitment, you create a need for validation. And that need for validation, once awakened, becomes the driving force behind her desire. She will seek to prove her worth to you, to gain your affection, to be the one who fills the emotional void you have created. Machiavelli knew that true power comes not from overtly expressing affection, but from making others seek your approval. By creating emotional vulnerability in her, you turn her insecurity into a desire for you, for your attention, for your affection. And in that desire, you will find the true power over her emotions. The art of silence, absence as an emotional trigger. Silence, my friend, is perhaps the most powerful tool at your disposal. When you remain silent, when you withhold your words, you create an emotional void that is far more powerful than any words you could say. In that silence, she will begin to question herself, to question you, to question the relationship. And it is in that questioning that she will begin to chase you. Machiavelli understood this well. In silence, power is born. The more you withhold your emotional presence, the more she will crave it. The more you allow her to feel the absence of your words, the more she will long for them. Silence creates an emotional need that no amount of speaking can ever create. Use silence wisely, and you will have her attention, her desire, and her emotional dependence. Controlling her perception of your importance. The key to emotional control is not in being constantly present, but in making her believe that you are indispensable. The ruler does not need to be visible at all times, but when he appears, he must make his presence felt as something rare, as something that cannot be replaced. You must make her believe that without you, her life would be incomplete. This is the true power. When she believes she cannot live without you, you control her emotionally. But remember, you must never make it too obvious. You must never let her see that you are playing this game. You must simply make her feel that your presence is something she cannot do without. In the end, true power lies in making others believe they cannot live without you, without ever letting them see how you have made them believe it. This, my friend, is the essence of emotional control. The reflection of true power. True power, my friend, does not come from force, nor does it come from pleading for affection. It comes from subtlety, from understanding the emotions of others and guiding them as a master guides his subjects. When you can manipulate emotions without them knowing it, you will have power that no one can take from you. The greatest rulers in history never forced their subjects into submission. They made their subjects believe that they had no choice but to follow. The same applies to relationships. When you create emotional dependency without her ever realizing it, you will have the power to shape her world to your liking. Now, if you are ready to step into this realm of power, to learn how to master the emotions of those around you, to make your relationships work for you, then subscribe now. This is just the beginning. There is much more to uncover, and each lesson will bring you closer to becoming the emotional master you were meant to be.